This is what I deal with all day, and
Oh
especially.
my God.
Oh, you already started the streaming? Because you could see, if you could see her at this window, she's hard at work pacing. Mm.
This dog is hard at work. Am I facing? Okay.
hmm
My God. He heard the cat sounds and he went crazy on me.
hmm
Okay. Now
I'm
for the
turning the sound. Get out of
link.
here.
Okay.
You're
Copy.
so cute.
Okay. Okay. Chat. Okay, chat.
Cute.
Should I share to the chat and to like our notes so that it's like public?
We can. There's a thing in the chat or in the notes that the link is in the chat for today.
Okay.
It's funny because I was like, I didn't post a thing. I already scheduled the thing.
Mm-hmm.
You leaving? Goodbye. I sharpened my nails. See, oh yeah, you can kind of see them.
Oh, yes.
Take them after. Oh, you can't see her. You see her? And down she goes.
Desperado. Wow, desperate girl. Okay, live stream shared. We're
Awesome.
good to go. I have it scrolled down so I can see if anybody jumps on,
Good,
but
good.
probably just gonna be us.
Catch the replay. This time is actually enjoyable, honestly.
2:30?
Yeah, it's nice. A
Target's
nice
40.
vibe. Also, didn't have to walk the dog today. Dogs today. I
Hmm.
went over there, went in the man house, and then see the leashes are not there. And also, they didn't come to the door. So I called him and left a voicemail and then sent a text. And as I'm texting him, he texts me. He was like, the leashes are in the truck. So, like, can we just skip the walk today? I was like, we for sure can. But also, and then I was like, okay, I'll cancel it. And then he was like, but wait, no, I actually want you to still get paid for it. So can you like mark it as a walk? And I was like, for sure can.
Absolutely.
I was like, that's
But
really sweet. So
whatever you say.
yeah, I've been getting some real good karma in that way.
Hmm.
Um, because I don't know if I told you I had cat sat last week and it was this whole hectic situation where I couldn't get into the house because the garage didn't
Yes.
work.
Yeah.
And so I didn't get in for 2 days. One of them was a 45-minute sit, the other one was an hour. Um, and I was like, you can cancel them. I don't think you actually retroactively can cancel them, come to find out, because I think you can only alter future sits. or
Yeah.
if it's the same day, you can't do the thing. Um, but she was like, "No, I'm gonna pay you, obviously, because you went, and it's not your fault that this is happening." Thank you.
Wow. Much
Yeah, and I was
appreciated.
like, "I'll sit for a full hour for the last 2 days since I missed out on 2 days." Um, you know, being a decent human being, it doesn't really take that much.
Doesn't
Is
really
the
take
thing
that
that's
much.
crazy. I told you, did I think I told you about the person whose phone I found?
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm like,
Doesn't take that
and
much.
even when there, you didn't have to, I'm like, I mean, arguably, kinda.
I
But I see what
actually
you're saying.
me did have
I
to.
had to. Yes.
Yeah.
I could not have. That's crazy.
Right. And handing you $5.
Yeah, it's still sitting there. The $5 has been on my table. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? So I'll invest it in my good person fund.
That's really fun.
Yes.
Ugh. Yeah. Well, good job. Way to go. Good person, you.
You know?
You good grief.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, speaking of good grief, today's Death Cafe was very good. Very, very good. I'm happy that my first one ever was a BIPOC centered and led one. That felt
Mhm,
like a
mhm,
very cool entry point into it because a lot of us were also talking. There was also three doulas in the space, two in training me and someone else, and then the person leading. Well, one of the co-facilitators is a end of life doula already, like doing work. So very cool, very very cool. Nate came, um, and then there was one other person who joined a little later. There was a couple, an older couple, and then one man who joined later too. Um, a pretty
Very
cool space.
cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Had great discussions.
Wow, 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 wow. Look at awesome.
Yeah. And I'm like, that's the point. I think this would be so helpful for everybody. So I'm looking forward to holding my own Death Cafes through Death Cafe, which is a global movement, but also just my
Mm.
own conversations about the stuff. I remember I used to host odd conversations and odd, right? Old as deep conversations. And I would bring that back for the sake of talking about death. Because it's also just so cool to meet people who are down to talk about death, right? That's like it's cool finding your community in that way. Because most people you talk to are like, get out of here with all that. Um, versus people who are like,
Yeah.
yeah, and this is my experience with it, and I'm actually well versed in this, and I've worked in hospice for etc amount of time, and I have my plans for what I want. So very lovely.
Wow. That's so great.
Yeah, and in person I think makes such a fun difference too, because my class is
Yeah.
online, so it's nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're like we talked about, we're coming back to, doing in-person things and
Yeah.
excited for the day that we
Being
could do
outside.
RIP in person as well.
Very exciting times when we can do that. The only thing I could think of where we could do it in person, but we're still remote, would be if we gathered people live, but then so we're on a Zoom together, but then we each have a group of people that we're working with in person. Um,
Mm.
that would be cool. Like right now, if you had a group of people with you and I had a group of people with me, and then we get to like come together, break off to do some of the writing portions, but then share as a big group. It'd be a cool
Mm.
hybrid. Um, but ideally, yeah, it would be us two in one space. But that'd be cool because it's a larger reach. Or if we did end up having I know we've been dream imagineering about bigger spaces. Like if we had facilitators, that would be a cool way to check in, like 5 people leading their own small group of 6. And we come together to do the themes together, and then everybody goes out to write. But we would need like 4 hours for the sharing.
The sharing would
It'll be
have to
30
be
people.
like back in the groups.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But I can see a way in a world. And I also can see like I've thought about how it would be cool in like the brick and mortar, that I have in my brain, to have like, live in-person hosted events, but also
Mm-hmm.
to just live stream everything.
Yeah,
Like just always,
absolutely.
and then have somebody kind of sitting off to the side, like managing the chat and like for them
Mm-hmm.
to be able to ask questions of whoever's there and participate in the workshop like in a meaningful way, but
Yeah.
online or virtually if they're, can't make it in person. So yeah, we're interweaving for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I would definitely want an ASL interpreter. At IMSL, that was
Yeah.
one of my favorite things. Is for everything they had, like the fund that they were um collecting donations for the ASL translators or interpreters,
Oh,
um, because they have to get paid. But they have for every event, every workshop, every spoken event, there's someone live, and because it's a kink based thing, the hand motions are hilarious because I'm like, what are we talking about over there? Very fun. They be getting
oh
in,
my gosh.
eyebrows furrowed, and they're looking ferociously, signing
Uh-huh.
quickly, having to like tap
Uh-huh.
in and out to.
Not signing ferociously.
Yeah, it was very cool. I was like, wow, I want to learn ASL big time.
Yeah, I've thought about that too. The book series that my mom and I have been reading, they
Mm,
have a deaf character, and like a lot of people in that world
mhm.
just have learned ASL, just like just know it and are able to walk up and just sign to that person and then come back and and it's like
Incredible.
we should all be able to do that. Like we should all be
Yeah,
learning ASL alongside of
yeah,
our spoken
basic.
English.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. Because nonverbal, that's like that would begin, I think, the basis of nonverbal communication being such an important part of communication.
Oh my
Um,
gosh. Yes.
the core of it. It's like you learn how to count one, two. If we're learning that, we might as well learn at least the ABC. So even if it's hard, it's also cool seeing there's certain words that they don't have, so you have to spell it out and
You have to
watching them
spell it
spell it
out.
real quick.
Yeah.
And also knowing that they're and that's why I was learning how they're interpreters and not translators because it's all so variable too. Like there's certain things that are universal, but then also if you're trying to convey context, you have to do certain things as well. um I just watched someone on Instagram, they were signing for my neck my back. um it's people were like, I feel like some of those were made up, and it was like, yeah, you do make up some of the things to get to convey the meaning across and the tone. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
Right.
that's so cool to think about tone in nonverbals.
Hmm.
So fascinating.
Yeah, and like it's like the largesse of the gesture and like the facial
Hmm.
expressions also are part of the conveyance. So it's like,
Yes,
yeah, you really do have to like
it's a full
learning.
body experience. Yeah,
Yeah, learning body language is like a whole thing. I feel like even the smallest things like me trying to hustle past people with somebody else's dog and not wanting to greet other people's dogs
that
would
would be
be easy
amazing.
would be easily conveyed where it's just like you see the tone, you see what my body is doing, and you can just
Hmm.
read it as
Right.
instead of me needing to be like, keep your dog away from me.
Uh-huh. Right. I gotta hiss and stuff.
Hiss and boo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm, very cool.
I love that. Wow, 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 wow.
That'd be
Yes,
fun.
yes to the
For
A.
our themes, I would love to see what that would be. We should definitely at least learn death, God, maybe at least renewed in poetry. Poetry would be great to learn.
Uh-huh.
I'm
Yeah. Writing.
waiting for Duolingo to create that too, because they have chess and then they have math now. Um,
Shit.
and I've been like the chess is actually really effective because I used to get crushed in chess because I had no clue what was going on, but I got up in there. So ASL would be very cool. Um, looking forward
Yeah.
to that potential.
I wonder if there's like already an app for that because I feel like there's got to be
Probably.
at least a few people who have had that cross their mind. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I uh I'm excited that I looked up the 826 network
Mm-hmm.
and was like, okay, let me see if I can volunteer, da da da. Because I've looked it up. I looked it up a few years ago and was like, oh, they don't have anything in Florida. And I just, came back going, let's see if a chapter has sprung a leak in Florida since then, and it has not. So I
Mm.
just filled out the contact form and was like, hey, I'm in. I would love to start an 826 SF South Florida, um, chapter. So I've worked with City Year. I've have contacts with City Year and Booster.
Mm-hmm.
Let me know because I've been really thinking about like wanting to go to like the middle school and the high school that are right on the corner here. There's like a elementary school that I'm like 2 minutes away, a 2 minute drive away from. So it would be really cool to just like use everything that I've learned with City Year and with Booster to just like be a representative, be an advocate, be that like, you know, beacon of joy that's coming around saying, I wanna help you teach your kids. I want your kids' brains to just explode with creativity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So let me in. Let me in.
Very, very cool.
So I hope that I at least get some form of a yes, because it would
Mm-hmm.
be really sad not to be able to like, you know, follow through on that like volunteer uh opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yay.
Yeah. Oof. Uh, it's fun to like be doing all these little things and go, ooh, 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 ooh.
Mm-hmm.
My all my little desires sparking.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. You really gotta go out there and do the thing.
All right, what color are we using today?
Lavender. It looked like there was one next to the yellow.
I think we've got I think we've got the navy blue is what it landed on. Oh,
Oh. Oh, it spins and then it lands on a thing.
uh-huh.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Cute.
Yep. 6:14. Oh, it's a new moon today.
Oh, this
And
would
I
make
only
sense.
and I only know that because Wilson's girlfriend's girlfriend that I'm in a group chat with now, all four of us,
Mm-hmm.
was like, come over for the new moon. And I was just like, oh, I didn't know there was one. Great.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know that they exist, but I just haven't been paying attention to those things anymore.
Nope.
I'm just letting the universe do its thing on me.
Yeah. It's very interesting being like, oh, well, that would make sense. Like
Yeah.
I sent you the pattern today and being like, oh, I've been in a pattern. This would make sense.
Yeah. I was talking with Lana about not really feeling that connected to astrology because so many people are using like the astrology symbols or the language of like, oh, it's a sextile and a square and a trine and with Mercury and da, da, da. And I'm like, Yeah, yeah, you lost me before you even started, buddy. Like
Yeah.
that's a form of gatekeeping. I hope you
Mm-hmm.
know. I
Sextile. What's that?
Sextile with me, so amazing. So literally,
Yeah.
I just I would like
No.
to, but I can't. So I was
No.
telling Lana like maybe I should just re-download the pattern so I
Oh yeah.
have everything translated for me.
Yeah, 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 yeah. The pattern is also just so it's interesting to have watched them scale as well because now things cost money. And they also have an interesting AI chat that asks some pretty interesting questions. It's the same,
Oof.
it's the same creators, but it's like you can ask questions around like if it's saying something about like the pattern I had sent you about myself would be like what's one way I can stay grounded in a time when my identity is shifting, and it'll share some interesting concepts. Oh yeah, I had read some to you that time when it was about like pursuing your passions but also still being grounded. um like just because you're trying to find a life of integrity doesn't mean you have to like rebuke work and
Oh,
not do things.
yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah, 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 yeah. How do I embrace my depth and have stability? You don't have to choose between depth and stability. They can coexist when you trust that your unconventional path is the grounding force. Your intensity isn't reckless, it's a compass pointing toward work and relationships that actually sustain you. So that's their chat. Um, which is pretty interesting, but you get a limited amount of questions until you pay. So that's the interesting part. And then like some of the things are like a go deeper because some of you like your pattern you can read, but I can't read in depth your pattern unless I pay
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
subscription. Oh, so
Mm.
yeah, but it's nice. It's nice reading, especially having the partner one, and then I can read Nate's every now and then because they'll pop up little messages, and then I'll read it to him, and he's like, "That, yeah." Yeah, it's my nice way of also, yeah, staying in tune with that vaguely without having to. I used to have it in my calendar, all the new moons and full moons. Um, like I
Mm.
would put them in every year, but I didn't do that this year.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I used to put them on my like a wall calendar, and now we
Hmm.
just haven't really hung any.
Yeah,
Well, we started hanging things, but yeah, now we're halfway through the year. Wall calendar is a little moot at this
yeah,
point, but
yeah. I might put it in my phone as I'm thinking about it. Could be helpful.
mm,
Well, I used to like planning around the moon cycles, like doing certain things around those times. Um, Interesting.
do they have the moon cycles on this monthly planner that I have? No. No, it's not a witchy planner whatsoever.
Hmm. It's also interesting that that's like a witchy thing when like the Taiwanese calendar is lunar, so they just it's the calendar. They know
It's a
witches
calendar.
involved necessarily. It's just how they
Yeah.
measure time. That was cool. I remember I used to do. I would follow because some of the monks there do a particular kind of like vegetarian fast. If you're not vegetarian fully, they have certain days that you don't eat meat. I remember following that for a while in high school. That was very cool. Maybe something to come back to. Ready for the themes?
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let me stop doodling. Themes. Themies.
All right. Um,
Themes. Me first? You first? May. Theme one, irritation slash discomfort tolerance. Just being around all these puppies, man, got me going. Ooh, there are other ways, and you don't have to resort to violence. Conflict can look different than violence. Conflict does not have to be abuse. Another theme, recurring sacrifice. My nootropics, taking that and waking my brain up and making my brain stay on track for things and move from one thing to another and just like get things done is making me bad at eating, at like feeding myself again, because I'll just be so busy that I'll forget to eat.
Hmm.
And then it'll be the middle of the day and I'll go, I guess I'm starving now, but I haven't
Hmm.
cooked because that wasn't one of the things that I was productive about. So
Hmm.
now I might be dying. Um, Receiving validation. This is something that my sister and I talked about, is like noticing that I've been receiving validation on a few things. Now that I don't ask for it, now that I'm not seeking it.
Hmm.
Uh, Another theme for me, working outside slash living closer to nature, living closer to what is alive, living closer to life. And my last one is white supremacy. Some things in the news, but also like just uh, an internal compulsion to like bring. I have Layla Layla F. Saad's book with me. Me and white supremacy, just while I'm spending this month away from home, where I'm only going to be in my bed for 2 more nights throughout the rest of June. So I'm like, let me take this time to get back into it because you've made note of a few things, and I'm like, oh, my whiteness is being creepy. So not that let's not that let that creep in.
Hmm. Hmm.
Let's not let that creep up on me. Yeah, those are mine.
Love that. I wrote them down too. So I already see some of the first one that I name is one of the connective tissues. Leaving your home slash being outside is required for growth, expanding to show up for community, being lost, self admission as the start of the redemption arc, being brave enough to look your darkness in the heart. What does it take to be willing? The freeing power of naming and the stillness required for integration would be mine.
I caught a few of those,
Hmm.
but I would love to hear what the connective tissues you're seeing are.
Yes. There's definitely
For sure, the
this
being outside.
the outside. I'm just gonna write outside.
Outside is good.
Outside is good. Honestly, that's gonna be it. Outside is good. Let's see. I feel like there's something about the power of naming with the validation
Hmm.
and the irritation, discomfort, tolerance, and the what is in the white supremacy.
Uh-huh.
Like I feel like naming is always the first step. Or even the sacrifice of like naming what is working, but then also noticing that it's impacting other things. Let's see. Mm, I feel like expanding to show up for community feels like it's touching on the conflict can look different than violence. Um, Maybe this thing around like I was gonna say reimagining conflict um,
Hmm.
as care.
So conflict as care for one of
Yeah, I
our
wrote
next
reimagining
issues.
conflict as care, but
Mm,
conflict
okay.
as care can also be good. And also maybe like mm, it's not seeking comfort, seeking. Mm, I guess relief is
Speaking,
coming up, but I'm not sure.
mm,
It's
I
I don't know if
was
it's seeking exactly.
was thinking like yeah, like not necessarily seeking, it's like almost like trying to find balance or like negotiating for contentment.
Mm, yeah, that's a good one. Nate and I were talking about this week. Um, so I was asking him something about being happy, and he was like, I don't really care if I'm happy, but I do care if I'm content. Because happy is just here and there, right? Content feels like a more overall. He's like, 'cause happy is important, right? Because it's like positive associations, joy. But content feels a lot more sustainable and more like leaves a longer mark on if you're generally content with oneself versus if you're happy. Because happy, it changes all the time. Well, that is very true. I like that. So outside is good, power of naming, reimagining conflict as care, negotiating for contentment. Hmm. Woof. Oh, that does that.
Oh, blue.
Doesn't do that. Oh, because the other one is still up already.
It only does it on my phone, I think.
Mm. What does this do? Oh, that is a symbol, right? That it knows about.
On my phone, yeah, if you do like the rock hands, it used to do like the lasers. It
Mm.
used to do like a laser light show behind you, and now
No, it
now no
only picks up
longer.
very select ones. Like it should pick up prayer hands. That feels very.
Yeah. Uh, it's another one.
Did they do the fist?
No. Um, no. Mm,
Nope.
trying to
That's
think
the
of
hand
other hand
raise,
ones, but
right? No hand raise for this one. Hmm.
oh,
Oh, it does. Okay. Oh, then it maybe. All right. Enough stalling. I was like, this one is. I don't have a poem yet.
I
Uh,
know. Like there are this might be two poems.
yeah, I'm gonna lay on the floor. Oh, yeah. Timekeeping. Who's timekeeping? I can't. My phone's in my hand.
Yeah, I don't have my
Awesome. How long do we want to do?
I'm feeling 22.
Okay.
22.
Hey Google,
Hey
set a timer for
Google.
22 minutes, 22 seconds.
I have set a timer for 22 minutes and 22 seconds. It will go off at 2:37 p.m.
All right.
Hey, bitch.
And off we go.
And off we go.
We have about a minute 40 left. That is the time. No landing. So.
So definitely called it. I wrote 2 poems. Oh, somebody's calling me.
Mm-hmm.
BRB.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that little guy is just tearing up that bone,
Mm.
that kneecap. So yeah, called it. Knew there were 2 poems in there. I didn't really. I finished the second one, but I didn't really. Don't feel like I stuck the landing.
Mm. Yeah. I don't know how to land this.
Lots of non-completion, and like I said, it's an era of unclarity. Pretty fun.
Hmm?
Pretty fun.
Mm-hmm. 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 Mm. Okay. It's still not a landing, but I think that might be all I got now.
Ugh, I need a nap.
Yeah.
You first, me first?
Uh, oh, how you feeling? Ready to share?
Yeah, yeah, I can share. Hope you just started doing some other crazy shit, so I'm just like, focus on me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, poem one. The palm frond falls, sliding schluff, spooking me for a sec during this Zoom call. Outside is where it's at. God is good in the trees, in the leaves, the seeds, from where I'm sat. Cinder blocks and cement, window panes on sliding frames, rubber chipped roof serve to block the air element. The sky at its finest, bright, open, and blue, closed off while inside the stark human nest. I don't want to come in from the great outdoors or walk on floors hard and cold when wildflowers brush shin. Outside is paradise, but paved or unseen by egos too big to recognize God in flowers, is the divine love we crave. Can you hear the dogs barking at all?
I heard a little muffled bark.
A little.
Seemingly, the dogs agree. They're not trying to go inside either. I love that.
Yeah. Fun one. Do you want to feedback that one first, or do you want me to just go on to the second one?
Are they connected at all? I mean, I'm sure
No.
there's going to be some kind of interplay, but not intentionally.
Yeah, no, they're pretty distinct.
What feedback?
All.
Mm, I think the imagery was very, very lovely. Um, very felt. It made me think about like being a kid and not wanting to go home or inside because it means just like a different thing going on in there. Um, and having a good time in the delights of outside, like the grass on shin, very sweet. What else? Yeah, it was very sweet. I think it's interesting because very contrasted to mine. And I was like, because I was, we'll get to there, but like I was writing about the inside, trying to go outside. And it's so interesting. It makes me think of when you're tripping. I know for me, when I'm tripping, the change of state is really difficult of like the choice to go outside if I didn't start outside. Um, feels like this like insurmountable thing that's coming next, and I have no clue what's about to be out there or in here. Um, and I think it's actually probably easier to come inside sometimes because you're going from such a, God is everywhere and it's all over. You're kind of in a very wide expanse, and getting to a narrower space can be sometimes helpful. The other way around can be, it's understandable why that's scary, actually. If especially there was that line you said about egos thinking that God's not everywhere kind of thing. Um, you get so used to your little inner God here, hard to imagine that it's everywhere, and you kind of have to encounter it everywhere. But I love the idea of having started there, and if that's our birthplace, or where we're feeling most comfortable and acclimated, of course we don't want to then go inside. Um, we lose contact with what is freely flowing. So that was very felt, and I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a fun one to write. After the first stanza, I was like, oh, I rhymed the first line with the last line. Okay, I guess it's a rhyming poem. I guess here we go.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, of course, as per usual with a Kellyanne poem, much internal rhyme as well, which was, really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, poem two. Face to face, noses touching, spittle from your lips, kiss mine. Anger spurts, apology, collapsing collarbones, like moth wings kissing. Squeezed fingers interlaced, yours and mine, embrace. Forehead furrowed, wrinkled skin, hugging. Eyebrows framed over eyes, holding. Rapid heartbeat, rosy cheeks, flutter madly, escape velocity. But face to face, breaths exchange, irritation alchemized, vibrations a balm, palm to palm.
Mm-hmm. Did you read that one again?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, let me put in the other headphone as well. I really get it.
Lock
Surround sound.
in. Face to face, noses touching, spittle from your lips, kiss mine. Anger spurts, apology, collapsing collarbones like moth wings kissing. Squeezed fingers interlaced, yours and mine, embrace. Forehead furrowed, wrinkled skin, hugging, eyebrows framed, over eyes, holding. Rapid heartbeat, rosy cheeks, flutter madly, escape velocity. But face to face, breaths exchange, irritation alchemized, vibrations a balm, palm to palm.
Very lovely. Yes, yes. Feedback for this one? Same.
Yeah, I'll be back.
I love the imagery of this one. Um, I feel like I love a body. I love body imagery in poems. I think, yeah, nature is cute, of course, gorgeous, and also there's something very. I mean, it's the intimate and it's easy to feel when you're talking about bodies, I think, because you're talking about bodies. So the sensations are like, I've had those sensations before. It made me think about, I saw this video, there's like a funny video on Instagram where people were like, next time you get into an argument with your significant other, you should press your foreheads together, and try to
Yes,
argue that way, right? And
that's
it's
what I
like
was.
hard,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's what I was thinking of.
it's hard to fight and be at odds when you are touching and face to face with somebody.
Yeah, my sister was like, I read something about how like if you are starting conflict and you're starting to feel a little like agitated between, each other, like you should sit and you should hold hands.
Yeah,
And that like, converts conflict from like a violent escalation into care.
yeah, yeah. And I think that's what's missing, right, from our internet comment section. It's hard. You can't hold people's hands. We're so far apart. We're usually just clacking away at something, and it's not interesting about the palm to palm of like encountering the difference with somebody else. And the alchemy, as you were saying, right, of like transmuting what's going on. And I think what's lovely about it is like, because at first it starts like it seems like there's like a warm embrace, right? There's like an intimate, sweet moment, is what you think is happening, but then there's these little glimmers of like, oh, they're not happy. Like this seemingly there's conflict happening, or disagreement, or irritation, um, anger, but handled very carefully, like you said. So very well done.
You know?
Yeah, and I like the start of being like face to face, and then with head to head. The contact remains throughout. It's like a massage. I feel like a good masseuse or massage therapist. I was hearing there's a difference between them. Keeps their hand on you so that your body still feels. So it's not shocking when they touch you again. Um, and that's like part of the co-regulation. Yeah.
Yeah, I was definitely trying to keep that contact because I was like, we've got the kiss and now more kissing, and let's
Mm-hmm.
throw in an embrace, and what else? Hugging, holding. Yeah, I just wanted to keep that sort of like return to words that like only people that care about each other, word, words that, are displays of affection that only people who
Mm-hmm.
care about each other would act upon.
Yeah.
And it was yeah, it was interesting to try to land it. Yeah, I felt like it was a little like almost a little too verbose at the end because everything
Mm-hmm.
else was very like
Yeah.
noses touching, anger spurts, squeezed fingers interlaced, eyebrows framed,
Mm-hmm.
and then at the end it's like irritation alchemized vibrations of
Yeah.
love.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I was
The
like,
vibrate. I would.
how do I
That is
get
fair.
there without doing all of that? I was
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
trying to on purpose trying to keep it simple, and it just felt like I couldn't get there in the end.
Mm-hmm. 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 That makes sense. Yeah, I think once the escape velocity entered, it started to pull out of the physical sensations and into the mind again. Um, versus like these are felt contact points. Um, yeah. Like I think with irritation alchemized, I think what's interesting is like I think you mentioned the brows being furrowed. Um, I guess there could be some description around tension being released. Um, like maybe a smile, or like laughter breaking the air, or something something else. Yeah, because I like the pairing of, yeah, like it sounded like there was like a noun and a verb, like a very two-line kind of thing.
Yeah.
um
I really wanted to keep it like we've been, playing with non-completion and, like not clarifying, not wrapping things up. And I
yeah,
wanted to like stay in the conflict. I didn't want to like have there
yeah,
be a sense
The release of
of like,
tension.
oh, they're resolving things. Yeah. So I was like,
Yeah.
I don't want there to be, I want it to be like, this is what I was like with the breaths exchange, irritation alchemized. I was like, I really want there to be this feeling of like, they're so like there's a closeness where they can feel each other's warmth, not just like body warmth, but like
Mm.
tonal emotional warmth, like feeling heated on the
Mm-hmm.
inside. And
Mm-hmm.
then there being a sense of like not needing to cool the other off or not needing to
Mm.
cool the self off. Like it kind of yeah, like an embrace of the moment where where you don't even have to you don't even you can't recognize it because you're in the middle of conflict. So you're not
Mm-hmm.
like processing what's going on necessarily, but if you're holding hands and you're forehead to forehead, and you're doing like the kind of like we're close because we care and we're
Mm-hmm.
not like trying to pull away. I want there to not be any pulling away, and I don't want
Mm.
to necessarily like complete the poem with resolution. I want it to just be like a through line of like staying staying in it and fostering that sense of care that doesn't need that isn't spoken that does is only spoken through body language.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. As you're saying that, I guess the word transference came up, which I think is maybe I'm thinking about when you were saying like the heat being felt, but it's also felt you would feel that in someone else. I think transference feels a little bit more accessible than alchemized. Um, if you want to use that word, but just like the idea of like I was also thinking about like breath on someone's face and feeling because I'm also thinking about osmosis of like when there's not that happening because it's equal on both sides. So
Mm,
it's not like one is flowing into the other. There's like mm, a stillness in the water, or like when you get into a pool and it feels like the same temperature. Trying to capture that feeling would be
right.
interesting. Yeah,
Yes. Like a lack of transference where it's like
lack of yeah,
this, yeah.
yeah, or like or maybe even conduit could be an interesting thing of like conducting
Mm,
in a circuit, or closed circuit kind of thing. Ooh, that could be something to work its way in there. Um, I wonder, yeah, maybe electricity could be a helpful kind of, or like energy in that kind of format. Describing those things could be interesting.
mm.
I guess I'm also curious, like if you're this close to somebody, what your are their eyes open or closed? Is also an interesting moment because that could be a point of mentioning. Because I'm like, when your eyes are open and you're looking real close at someone, I wonder what different things look like or what different features look like. Like a scowl might look different, if you're real close up to somebody. Um, and I think it's inevitable that you're gonna laugh in there too, which is interesting because that would break the tension. So if you don't want to involve that, you could leave that out. Or even when you're trying to hold back laughter because you're trying to be serious, could be an interesting thing to play with there too. Um, I guess I'm also curious because it's a lot of their. It sounds like they're right. They're pressing their faces together and they're holding hands, but I wonder, like the heartbeat, because you can hear people's heartbeat in other parts of their body. So I'm
Hmm.
curious about maybe some sound would be interesting to bring in. And yeah, like how close are their chests? Where are their feet positioned?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I got to the end here. It was like, okay, um, forehead furrowed, wrinkled skin hugging, eyebrows framed, over eyes holding. And then I was like, okay, what is the rest of the physiology of being in conflict? And I got to
Mm-hmm.
like rapid heartbeat, rosy
Right.
cheeks, but it's
Mm-hmm.
like it was like kind of rushing out
Yeah.
ideas as
Yeah,
opposed to
yeah.
like being able to, yeah.
Really sit in there. Because I think the stomach would be very fascinating for sure. And then eventually, if they're hugging, right, the groins are also very interesting because when you're really close to someone, you hug real like full body, and if not, you're usually a little bit
Mhm.
further. I think that would indicate how close these people are too. It seems like they're like it felt like two lovers to me. Um,
Mhm. Mhm.
but that would those are small things I think that would help involve that too. And yeah, the feet are you like square with each other, or are they like feet in between? Or someone's feet on the outside, someone's feet on the inside.
Ooh. Hmm.
Are they shifting feet? 'Cause it's a very dynamic thing. I wonder if there's anything static too, or hair falling into different places too. I'm thinking about like hair falling in the way, but not moving it aside is also very interesting. Being so focused on one another and not like letting other things come into the thing, which makes me think about conflict and not bringing in another issue, but staying focused on what we have going on right here in this moment. Eyelashes. Did you mention eyelashes? I like the collarbones as well. Because I guess you don't have to specify so many things because when you say collarbones, I'm like, okay, these motherfuckers is close. If you can feel your collarbones against each other. But I do think these other things would just if you wanted to lengthen or land or like embellish a little bit more, it could be helpful. Um, because yeah, I'm not lost as to how close these folks are, but I think these details could be enriching, and then maybe in naming even if you just name them and write them out, and you don't necessarily have to use them all in the poem, could help, you could pick which ones actually convey what you're trying to get at. And because they might go in different places too, like the poem in the poem itself. Also
Hmm.
fingers. Because you palm to palm, but I'm like, are they like this? Because this could also be palm to palm when your hands are, because I think you said interlaced at some
I
point.
have squeezed fingers
Yeah,
interlaced. Yours and mine embrace.
embrace.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting too to like hear like the closeness that you got versus the closest that I was imagining.
Mm.
So yeah, there are definitely some things that um I mean, I could make more clear, and also I'm like, and reading is different from listening. So yeah, I kind of have to, yeah, I have to sit with this one a little bit
Hmm.
because I do like it. I like the precision. I like the conciseness.
Yeah.
It's not.
I thought
It's
it
not.
was complete. Truly.
Mm,
Yeah. I added because you were saying something about landing or figuring out. I was like, here's where you could take it, but I think in and of itself it's complete.
mm,
Both of them actually, when you meant that's why I was like, which poems are not done? I
mm.
feel landed. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this one needs help, but the first one I'm pretty happy with.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one, yeah, I could see that. But it is also to me, it did land for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Nice. Thank you.
You're welcome. Mine. I don't know if I like this poem. Um, which I feel like comes up a lot. But we'll see. I like parts of it, but I think eh. Ready?
Yes.
All right. The comfortable caress of my corduroy couch has become too familiar. Stale air circulating, lifelessness settling in. I've count every thread on my shaggy rug, internal mystery solved. The glow of warmth calls me from outside, leaves beheld in sun. Shrill laughter climbs through my sealed window pane, beckoning. I close my eyes, the hot, wet embrace cooled by an occasional warm breeze, smiles shared among strangers. I stand up. The sun goes dark. What am I doing out here? I don't know anyone. What do I do with my hands? Why bother? This is weird. I sit back down. Frown. Anxiety and desire, tug of war, fought on imaginary battlefields. No action, no ceasefire, suspended in doubtful suspicion. Smothering will, stranded in isolation unnecessarily. Wondering why joy and trust have gone on vacation. Comfort and vigilance never checked out. Curiosity is on leave. Grief over time. Creativity goes on strike, and still I sit shriveling. Change happens in an instant. Turn off the mind, drop into the heart. All of this was once unfamiliar. We long to transform the unknown into new spaces. This requires adventure. That's where I squeezed out that last little bit. But that's what I got.
Feedback?
All feedback.
I love the beginning. The beginning was so dropped in, and I can I can sense like the departure from the imagery as like a where is this going, or where am I taking this, or will this have a resolution?
Hmm.
And I as I was hearing like these feelings are on vacation and creativity shut off. I was like, oh, I would love to hear how like creativity was smothered into the shag carpet, or like put the feelings and put the things that you're talking about, like don't just talk about them, like show me where they died
Hmm.
in the inside place, or where they're outside living and you're like feeling that yearning because you've got the FOMO, you're watching them like dance around outside with what are they called, they're ribbon dancing out, you know out
Hmm.
in the lawn. Yeah, because the like you in the corduroy couch was so dropped in, and then uh like the rest was like thoughts, questions, feel like like you were saying about mine, where it's like intellectualized feeling
Hmm.
and not necessarily feeling.
Hmm.
But yeah, the something about like the airflow stopped on the couch
Hmm.
kind of thing, and I was like, that's so potent. That's that's really palpable. Like I could really feel that. Oh, and I loved the part where you were saying like counting threads in the shag rug or shag carpet because it's
Hmm.
like literally that moment where you're like, I don't have any reason not to do the thing that I do want to do. I'm really just like biding time now. Like I'm really
Hmm.
just giving myself any reason not to do the thing. And I
Hmm.
think that's also like a really relatable part of this poem was like the sense that you gave of like I don't have any reason not to go outside
Hmm.
except that I'm doing this like really mundane thing on like on purpose, not on purpose.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. That first part was very evocative.
Yeah, that's when I think that's the only part I really like. The rest of it, I'm like, eh. Um, yeah. From on truly after the on my shaggy rug internal mystery solved, the next line because it was gonna be it's like I didn't skip any lines in this, and I was like, eh. But then I was like, I don't know how to. I'm not getting outside at this point. I was trying to figure out how to display the call from outside, but I think also like this was one where it was like the last one I feel like I wrote where I was like, I don't know how to pull out of where I'm at. And that's kind of the point. Yeah. Cause even it's not even really that enticing. Like even hearing you say, I was like, where I think it'd be better to maybe talk about where all these things have been inside the house. Cause I was like looking outside. I guess I kind of see those things. But it's almost like what I think what I might try to do, like I'm probably gonna scrap everything after what I said. But thinking more, and then like I like the idea of the anxiety and desire tug of war. Um, but I was thinking about like my window pane often feels like a painting. Like I see outside, but I'm not going in there. It's like not something to go into per se, or I go into it in my imagination. Um,
Mm.
or maybe
Mhm.
even I was thinking maybe I could talk about like imagining being outside and all the details of that. And then the end of it snapping back to being still on the goddamn couch. um,
Right. You could use like your cat on the windowsill constantly pacing a as like another viewer within the poem who can like help us
mm,
see what the outside looks like that is not you
mm,
because you're the one who's like I can't see out there like it's not even real to me.
mm-hmm,
But something else that came up while you were saying that was, you know, you wouldn't have stayed inside for so long if you didn't have joy in there at some point, if you didn't have
mm-hmm,
creativity in there at some point, and like giving the sense of like, I've sucked the life out of them and I've squeezed them dry in
mm,
here.
yeah.
And then, you know, possibly using like the cat as like as, you know, the like middleman, like the mediator between like this inner world and the outer world, you
Mm-hmm,
know, might be
mm-hmm,
more yeah, it might be more like powerful than trying to show us both, just like really staying
mm-hmm,
inside and really being like, I know this place too well. Because
mm-hmm,
that was the only note that I wrote while I was listening because I was like,
mm-hmm,
one of the first things you said was like this place is becoming too familiar and I was like okay I just wrote too familiar because I was like I want to know why like I want to be listening out for why
mm-hmm,
and yeah the the framing of that through like the objects in the place where you've stayed too long I think is like so much more deeply felt, then it needs to be explained, and like you
Yeah.
kind of like explain throughout the rest of the poem, and it's like, trying to get like the thoughts down, but
Yeah.
the feelings, yeah, would be
Like
really really
truly
good.
like exactly what it was and the departure, like you said, he felt was because I was like then literally doing what I like trying to pull myself outside. And I'm like, to me, there's never really reason to go. I mean, there's many reasons to go outside, but like I have to be in the mood for that. And it's funny having just been outside. I was like, I mean, I had a great time outside, of course, but when I'm in my zone, and I guess I was thinking about also Nate, because Nate usually will be like, let's go on a walk. Or I'm coming downstairs and you're coming out with me, right? Like that, that's the departure. So I'm like, I was thinking about, yeah, I was trying to talk about the feeling of like the pull of wanting to be outside. But I was like, I don't often, and I guess I'm thinking specifically about the trip I had recently of like, I had no desire to be outside at any point. I think I was like, I want the fresh air because there
Mm,
is a staleness, right? And then like you can also just open a window. I think it would be cool to have a desire and then find the way of settling it inside. Right? Like for
yeah.
me, it used to be like food used to be the thing, but I can cook everything here. So that could be a fun tension to play with too. Um, but then also I think what I was trying to capture too is like there's a guilt in feeling like one should not be inside only,
Mm,
um especially when it's a beautiful day, go out and enjoy the day, is what like I am also trying to get at. And I think the cat is an interesting idea too, because I think about how she wants to go outside, but when I take her out there she does not want to be out there. So that could be a fun play as well of like she's the one advocating to go outside or like observing, um and then I kind of use that as the reason for us to go outside. And then we're both like, "Bruh, back on that couch." Because I
yeah, or
wasn't
like,
sure what the feeling was. Like, I feel like I was trying to be like productive, right? I think I was really trying to force the
yeah,
poem to go somewhere versus like
right, right,
the couch is comfortable, too familiar. And also, I'm not changing that.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like talk more about it.
Yeah.
And I think you saying like Nate comes down and is like, I'm gonna come get you and pull you outside. It's like, in the poem there could be like the pacing of the cat or like a knock at the door, and you don't respond to either. You're still just like kind of stewing on like the hum of of an empty refrigerator,
Mhm.
like all these things that could get you up and off the couch, but just don't.
Yeah.
You're just, I just choose to be here for whatever reason.
Yeah. Yeah. I think this is a good one for like instead of this is one of those that like I had a vision for where I wanted it to go, but that's not where I was trying to go, which is literally the theme of the poem. Like oh, actually a good idea would be like all the books I haven't read. And like you were saying, hum of the empty fridge. My fridge is hella full, too full even. So maybe the hum of, and I was gonna say empty wallet is like also not necessarily true. Like I think what I'm trying to capture too is utter like utter comfort and satisfaction, and how that is also detrimental. Um oh, hello. Came to write some poetry on you. um but I think the thing that's hard and what I was like capturing is like, hmm, it's the judgment of I am judging that.
Yeah,
What I really want to do is kind of glorify the Wally life, right? The we just chilling and not leaving.
I
And I don't
love
want to
that.
glorify that, but it's
I
true
love
that I
that
think it,
perspective of like fridge full, wallet full, new clothes hanging in the closet. Like all of
mhm,
these reasons to like, engage in life and to,
mhm,
to feel full, and yet still sitting there feeling like there's something missing. There's something that I'm not doing.
mhm. Gotcha. Yes. Feel full. I like that. Because that is what it feels like a lot of times. Like, but I should be. And I
Hmm.
guess something that would be cool too, and if I don't involve Simone in the poem at all, is like the loneliness of it still. I think that's the part that I want to like build upon. Like, yes, there's all this, I'm so familiar with this space. I'm so full. I have all these things. And like a no one to share it with, or like the kind of like echoing in my own, like an echo chamber kind of thing versus
Hmm.
having, because that's the only reason I'd go outside. Because I have everything in here that I need for me. So that's another thing to play with. Thank you. This is good because I was like you saw, you felt very clearly. The first part, I was like, I'm chilling, and then I was
I
like, ah,
felt I felt the switch where it was like all imagery and then all like
thoughts.
thoughts. Yeah,
Yeah.
intellectualization. And I was like, "Oh, that's distinct."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's like I'm trying to like literally trying
I
to convince
loves
myself to be
me.
outside. The
Yeah.
flyos.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. I like that. The feels full, but something is off. But I think there's a way to make that unsettling as well.
Hmm.
But I wanted it to feel like, ooh, mm, mm.
With you saying unsettling again, I'm like, you need to include Simone pacing at the window.
Yeah.
Like there's a way to convey loneliness in spite of there being others around and in
Another
spite of
creature.
there
Yeah,
being,
for sure.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Mm.
Some thoughts. I don't know when I'll come back to this one. Also, because I think that part is the judgment comes from like I'm trying to leave my house, so it feels like I don't want to write an ode to how the familiarity is here. But it's interesting. I this is definitely one to chew on.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, I might
yeah.
I might come back to this.
Yeah, I was just thinking
Oh
like,
yeah.
ooh, that might be one where you want to like come back to it today because it's like not a feeling that we have every day, you know?
Hmm. I think I might write about it when I don't want to go outside because I think right now I'm like I'm trying to be outside, so that's why it's a little
Mm,
complicated. I think maybe when it's raining again, I'll take it out to write on it because I don't often want to be outside when it's
mm,
humid and rainy. Or like if I were to trip again, that might be a fun time to write about it as well.
mm.
Or at least just jot down some of the things, or actually even recalling that would be helpful too.
Yeah.
It's just been so different because I used to stay only inside, especially when I would have work. There'd be days where I was like, oh shoot, I didn't actually go outside today, and I had no issue with that. It would be like talking about it with somebody, or it's been like 2 3 days, then I'm like, I should probably go outside at some point. So interesting to because that hasn't been my life lately. I have been outside like daily. So it's interesting to try to like harken back to that time.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
But thank you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. Thank you for receiving all the feedback too. There are sometimes where I'm like, I don't know if I should say all of the things, especially when we're doing like the poetry course. It's like, I'm not going to say all of the things that are on my mind because somebody else is probably going to say something or touch on this thing that I'm thinking is like, oh, this could be here, this could be there. I'm like, no, we're both here for all the feedback. And there have been times where you've been like very helpful with a poem that I felt stuck about. So yeah, I just have to not like again, the whole, oh, this should have been a theme. Like the people pleasing habit
Mm,
of trying to attest to what somebody else may or may not
mm,
experience
mm-hmm.
before you've given them a chance to experience it themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ooh, and maybe that's something that I can kind of infuse into the conflict poem.
Mm, mm. The people pleasing or trusting others to be
Like
able to handle.
yeah, like the tension of not the tension of being totally truthful and not holding back,
Mm-hmm.
and that being a part of like conflict as care as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, there could be something about giving somebody your full force and then it being held. That would be a cool. Maybe even like a pressure in terms of leaning, like giving your weight and it's equally met, or no one's taking a step back. Would be interesting. I feel like that's an
Okay, that's where
interesting
the feet are.
physical. Yeah, okay, gotcha. Yeah, it feels like a physical representation of the osmosis thing, of like it's complete on both sides, so it's not going to take on more. Or I guess it's like so quickly adjusting. Uh, no one's like having to fall back because of the weight or pressure. Also about the feedback, more specifically, like what you just shared, of not being sure if you should share the feedback. I think it's always interesting when I don't really like my poems because I feel like I'm not that attached to it. And sometimes when you're giving me feedback about it, I'm like, hmm, I guess maybe I should care a little bit more about this poem. Or like this gives me reason to care about it because I thought it was like, eh. It was not a I don't necessarily ever judge my poems as like throwaway poems, but there are some that I have no real intention to ever come back to. But then I feel like you help to redeem it, right? And I'm like, all right, I guess there's more here that could be explored and vindicated.
Yeah, there was something worth writing about.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, and there's also like the trust of like you have every opportunity to say, well, just tell me what you liked or I don't really want feedback.
Right.
Yeah, really good stuff. Really good stuff. I appreciate getting to like learn in relationship with you and with Wilson specifically. Um, like the sort of monotony of honesty. Because in my home,
Mm.
honesty was always a gunshot.
Oh, I understand, my friend. I did not come this way easy, you know?
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
It's a
Yeah.
shocker that I can even I feel very honored to hear you say that because like that the monotony of honesty because that has not been the case. I've always tried to be like I feel like this is like it feels scary, but it feels like this is a normal part. Like raising your hand to give an answer. It's a little scary, but like then you say the thing and then we move on. But like it's
And then
never
we
been
move
like that.
on.
It has been a
Yeah.
transgression.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate that. It's very affirming to hear.
Yeah, and I guess the difference is like the truth being a stain versus the truth being uh like a chip away or a shaving off of like the sort of like marble statue of a
Mm.
relationship where it's like we're making all of these little like precise but like sharp chipping away at like what's being revealed underneath.
I love that analogy actually. Because I think chipping away always is like a chipping away at trust, right? Or like there's usually a taking element to it versus like
Yeah,
taking form of something else. I
right.
like that.
Yeah, because I'm like, oh wow, and that's actually a really good analogy because when you're doing a marble carving, it's like you start with the block, and
Mm-hmm.
the only way you can find out
Mm,
what it becomes is to chip away.
yeah. And to listen to what's already in the block, as what Michelangelo said, David was in the
Mhm.
block, I freed him.
Yeah,
I'm
yes,
thinking
that's
about
what
that
I
as
was thinking
freedom,
of when I
actually.
said that.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
I love
Woo!
this.
Oh,
Right? Like
oh,
it's like trust and love is in the block, and us chipping is actually freeing that, right? The connection,
yeah.
the understanding, the being held,
Mm,
the humanity. I
yeah.
love
So
that.
good. That's very good. Ooh, we're gonna be running with that one.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm glad we're recording this.
I know. Legit, I thought the same thing. I was like, oh, and we recorded
Thank
it. Good for
goodness.
us.
Yeah. And
Oh,
that gives a
wow.
whole different idea to folks who don't want to participate in conflict too.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm,
Mm-hmm.
that's interesting.
Mm.
Mm.
Okay, well, and with that,
And with that, great
we have
work, everyone.
renewed. We have renewed in
Yeah.
poetry. What'd you say?
I said, great work, everyone.
Great work, everyone.
Very
Here we
good.
go. Here
I've
we
been
went.
very
Oh,
I've been very happy for these sessions. I feel like the last one we did too, I feel like I didn't really like my poem very much, unless that was the one before that. There was one that I wrote that was using the Ho'oponopono prayer that I didn't quite
uh-huh.
finish.
That
Um,
was a couple of them ago, yeah.
a couple of them ago, yeah. I've been enjoying being able to capture this process too, because I think people think, just because you sit down to write means you like everything that you write, and it's like you don't have to, and you still get to show up and do the thing and have a great time doing it.
And have a wonderful time.
So thank you. Thank you for the time, Kellyanne.
Hey, same. Right back at ya. Love you, Gary.
Love you. I'll see you on Friday.
Friday. Yep. Oh, what a relief.
You know?
Look at us, ebbing and flowing. Wow. Good for us.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hope you enjoy the day. Also, I'm sure I'll chat with you throughout the week.
I was gonna say, yeah, I'll see you on Friday, but I'm sure be we'll be present in the WhatsApp.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. All right. See you, friend. Love you. Enjoy the rest of your
Love
day.
you. You too.